walk off death row in Barbados following a ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice. And in sport, a West Indies loss to Zimbabwe leaves the Youth ODI series tied. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, July 26. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Join the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the Assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
We begin in Barbados, where 2 men on death row were freed after the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, ruled there was not enough evidence to convict them. Vincent Edwards and Richard Haynes, who were in prison since 2007, were charged with the 2006 murder of Damien Alleyne. Alleyne's body was discovered by his girlfriend not far from her residence on the night of August 11, 2006. He was pronounced dead shortly afterward. Following their arrest almost 1 year later, Edwards and Haynes were convicted of murder and sentenced to death. In 2015, they sought leave to appeal to the CCJ. And on Tuesday, in a ruling handed down by the CCJ, the court held that the convictions could not be upheld because the sole evidence presented by the Director of Public Prosecutions was not sufficient to ground a conviction, having regard to the provisions and the general spirit of the Evidence Act, which the Parliament of Barbados passed in 1994. The CCJ said the only evidence linking the appellants to the murder was their alleged oral confessions made to police officers in separate interviews with the officers while at a police station on July 19, 2007, almost a year after Alleyne's murder. Still in Barbados, Prime Minister Frendell Stuart says he is willing to meet with social partners who have been clamoring for a meeting to discuss their concerns. He was speaking in Parliament yesterday, a day after thousands of Barbadians joined with trade unions and the Barbados Private Sector Association to press the government to meet with the social partners over recently implemented budgetary measures. The Prime Minister gave the assurance during a debate on a resolution brought by the opposition to address government's impasse with the trade unions and the private sector. Stuart did not give a date for the meeting but said it would not be held behind closed doors.
The meeting requested, I promised it. It is going to take place. But as I said, it's going to take place in full glare of the public. I will communicate, as I said in my reply to the head of the Private Sector Association, I will communicate to him and the other social partners when that meeting is going to take place. But I know this. It is not going to take place in secret. It is going to take place in full glare of the public so that Barbadians can see where it is we are going.
Trinidad and Tobago's government is proceeding with plans for a legislative solution to the crisis in the judiciary arising from the appointment of former Chief Magistrate Marcia Ayres Caesar as a judge and her resignation over 53 part-heard matters. Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi says government will call Parliament into session during the August recess to debate and pass the legislation, and he says the opposition's support isn't needed.
There is a legislative recommendation proposed by the DPP. We have drafted a law to match with the legislative proposals recommended by the DPP.
It was the June correspondence from the DPP to the AG, which the PM referred to when he first made mention of legislative changes to address the 53 cases left abandoned when Marcia A.S. Caesar was elevated to the High Court. The draft, Mr. Arawi says, has gone out for public comment and seeks to amend 2 pieces of legislation to give the DPP more scope or power to act.
The bill is essentially proposing an amendment to Section 23 of the Preliminary Inquiries Act, and then a certain similar clause for the summary court, and it will include a broader range of options as to when the DPP can exercise his power under Section 23 for voluntary indictment.
And get this, if the draft makes its way to a bill, the opposition's parliamentary support isn't necessary. During the opposition leader's meeting with the Prime Minister, she already indicated her unwillingness to support legislative remedies.
It is simple majority law as drafted. That law, if it stays in the current form, does not require the opposition's participation. Notwithstanding that fact, it was appropriate to at least signal the position to the leader of the opposition.
Stay with us. Your sport is next.
As a Jamaican, there are so many different styles of theatre that you can find a genre that you're comfortable with. And this particular role, this woman is very confident. She is a private entertainer. She is nothing like me in terms of, you know, I find her not a gold digger, but she's very opportunistic. And she has her sights set on what she wants. And me personally, Malin, I'm not so strong-headed and yeah.
So what are you making? I saw the flights and all kind of stuff.
So we got 3 cocktails here. So the first one is the Bajan Flight, which is a tamarind emulsification with lime. I have the Mongay Black Barrel. Then I'll finish off with the black pepper salted sugared rim. So mainly remember like being a tamarind ball as growing up as in a Bajan society.
Ooh, look at that! Oh, flight boy!
After a winning start to their 3-match one-day international series, West Indies were defeated by host Zimbabwe by 26 runs in their second game today. Batting first at Peterhouse School, Zimbabwe under-19s reached 236 for 9 off their 50 overs. Ryan Murray top scored with 59, while Dion Mears contributed with 45, Wesley Madhever 38. The pick of the bowlers for the West Indies was Xavier Spencer 4 for 35 and Neem Young 2 for 64. In reply, the Windies youth were bowled out for 210 in 44.2 overs. Top scorers were Alec Athanaze 46, Matthew Patrick 42 and Bhaskar Yadram 42. The West Indies under-19 secured a 39-run victory in the first match on Sunday. With Zimbabwe leveling the series, it means the next encounter will be the series decider. And reigning champions Trinidad and Tobago along with Guyana were in strong position to force victory, but Barbados faltered against Jamaica on the penultimate day of the first round of matches in the CWI Regional Under-19 3-day championship yesterday. We will give you more details of that game in our 6:30 newscast. Do stay with us. Well, join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Have yourselves a good afternoon.